Hello and welcome to the channel. Today I'm visiting Jaguar Land Rover Classic Workshop near Coventry, and we've got a special visit today, a little tour around with the Revs Restore team who are doing up an old Land Rover, which you often see them at Bicester and other places. So I don't really know what to expect from the day. Obviously there's a lot of people here to chat to, but there's also an awful lot of cars, Jaguars and Land Rovers from history. I believe there's a bit of a collection as well that we can go around, so I'm looking forward to that, and I'll take you with me. Little lounge space there, all their kind of merchandise which I guess is available. And then the first cars you kind of see are these two XJS convertibles, and I'm guessing that they've obviously given the mileage on them. I'm guessing that they've had a life and then they've come back into ownership in Jaguar and been done up. It's got a price tag on it, so I guess they're for sale. But yeah, immaculate. Not sure you get away with trying to sell that colour today, but I'm a big fan of colourful cars. This is Jaguar's F1 car, for those of you who might remember when they came into Formula 1. Currently the team is called Red Bull. Now most D-types you see are replicas, but I'm guessing this one isn't. That price tag, 1.25 million, it certainly won't be. So, anorak fact, why is the Jaguar D-type called the D-type? And therefore why is the E-type called the E-type? Well, it goes back to the C-type. There was no, as far as I know, there was no A-type or B-type, but the C-type stood for competition, because it was the competition version, I think, of the XK. So that's where C-type came from. D-type just followed it, E-type followed that, and then ultimately we ended up with the F-type. But that's where it came from. And you got some XK 120. Sorry, it's 140. I always get those confused. And then an XJ. Looking nice. So, never seen one of these before. Factory 4-door saloon, but then transformed into a convertible. Quite an interesting thing. There's one of their continuation XKSS's. Still a beautiful car though. And then we move into the Land Rover area. It's one of the original Land Rovers, subsequently referred to as a Series 1. And then the most recent, the Defender. And you've got the Camel Trophy Defender, now the regular Defenders. I think they're all Defenders down here. Not sure if there's surely there'd be the odd Range Rover tucked away somewhere. Ah yes, here we go. So yeah, mostly Defenders, but then different era Range Rover Classics. Although the P38s. Yeah, this is the earliest of them. The 2-door. We've got all the materials that you can use if you want to update your Land Rover or Range Rover. So this is the best bit of the day, probably, the bacon or sausage butties. Just round the corner there is the workshops, and we can't film in there because they're all customer cars in there, but we'll be able to film again come the collection. So this one here apparently is chassis number 1, so very historically significant Range Rover, the very first one built. It's got Range Rover on the front, whereas this one, which has got Velar written on it, which was the project name, actually is chassis 14, so that's a little bit later. But yeah, this one apparently will never be out on the road, but it'll be worth a fortune if it ever sold, which they never would, because it's chassis number 1. Yeah, we're into their collection, which kicks off with a bunch of toy cars, which are real cute. And pictures of famous Jaguar owners, Tony Curtis. Very young. What was his name? Ian Ogilvy, wasn't it? I think. We've got all the whole load of Jaguar Land Rover products all racked up over there. I don't know how many cars they've got in here. Oh, just looking at the no photography please, but they did say we could photograph in here. But yeah, huge collection. Racks and racks and racks of them, and obviously all the older stuff up there. Wow, these are pretty beefy looking things. Look at the wheels and tyres on those. So various Land Rovers in different states of restoration. Kind of big lineup of Jaguars, kind of E-types. There's quite a few XJ220s tucked away. There's sort of two here. There's one over there. There's some really early stuff back before it was named. Oh, that was a Jaguar, that one. Some of this stuff presumably is from when they were Swallows. There we go, that's got to be it, isn't it? A Swallow Sidecar Company, or SS for short, which any time after 1939 wasn't going to go down so well, so they obviously had to change the name of the company to Jaguar. But what a collection! It's just amazing. I mean, how do they get them out? So they need to get one of the ones out the back there. We're what, 1, 2, 3, we're 4 rows deep here. How on earth would they get them out? To get out all the ones in front, I guess, and then drive them forward. But if the one you want to get out is on the rack, in the top rack at the back, gosh, it's going to be a bit of a pain, isn't it? Get all the other ones out from in front of you first. So I'm sure we could find out by asking exactly how many vehicles are in here, sort of cars, but it's got to be, well, got to be 300 or 400. Some in, different states of completeness than others. And clearly from different eras. Makes you wonder what is the sort of, what's the rationale when they keep something or don't keep something? Do they want to have something of every year, every variant? What is the strategy? Obviously this end is a bit more modern, some of it. And then on this side is all Defenders and such. Now this one up here, I'm assuming, is the one from Spectre that was set fire to. This suggests it's been set fire to that, so that would have been the one that was driving along the banks of the Tiber, is it, in Rome? Okay, so got a bit more background info from this chap here who works here about what's in here. So you've got all sorts of film cars, prototypes, ex-Royal cars, so that XJ, the green XJ there, and I think the green Range Rover just over there. From the Royal collection, there's a couple of XJs over the back that were part of the Royal fleet. But yeah, it's all prototypes as well. So this one, interesting one here. Whether you notice the fluted grille on that, marking it out as a Daimler XJ. So it was obviously prototype, never went into production as Daimler. We've got various prototype Defenders. Project 7's a prototype. And all these are prototypes as well. So as well as the CX-75, that's a Bond Range Rover as well that was crashed in no time to die. And if you're into Bond cars, this is also a Bond. I don't know which. It's probably one of the ones that was jumped in that last chase. What I'm struggling with here is this stuff right at the back that you think, oh, it looks quite interesting, but you can't quite see what it is, and we're not allowed past this red and white tape. But you kind of got to just look down the corners, look down the sides of things. You see a few different things, but they'll be sort of special editions, one-offs, prototypes. But often they're just one of a certain lineage, and so they want to bring them out now and again to compare them with others. I guess if they're doing repairs, they can see stuff from how something should have been on a particular model in a particular year. But yeah, some interesting stuff for sure. A And you know, if you're any kind of Jaguar or Land Rover enthusiast, it's the kind of place you've got to come just to see different things. I mean, you know, that for example, what even is that? Sort of looks like the Freelander type thing. What are they calling it? Calling it a Defender concept, a Defender 100 concept. So, you know, obviously never made it to production. Bit of a strange feeling. A friend and I who are here today, it almost feels like a morgue. You know, that is, but by all accounts they do come out. Some of them come out and get driven, get taken out, get, you know, see some air. Some are obviously road registered, but there's so many here that you just feel there's no way that all of them can be moved in any given 12-month period, unless they've got a proper sort of management cycle which does that. Well, there we go. That concludes the tour. I hope you've enjoyed having a look round. If you are a Jaguar or Land Rover enthusiast, I do recommend coming here. You can book tours via the website. Some fascinating vehicles here. More so in the workshops that sadly I couldn't film or wasn't allowed to film. But yeah, some interesting things in there being worked on. But anyway, there you go. Jaguar Land Rover Classic Workshop tour done. See you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.